Hey students, just focused on how to tell time in two different ways, specifically the smart way. In a previous video, we went over what the smart way looks like, talking about the four different slices of the clock and how they were represented in four different quarters: the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, and the fourth quarter. But more specifically, where we and how we place the smart way. At the top of the hour, we call that o'clock. Down at the bottom, we call that half past. Over here on the left, it's quarter before, quarter of, or quarter till. And here on the right, when my minute hand is at the 3, it's quarter after. Knowing where these are will help you with the worksheet that we're practicing today, because all of the minute hands are either going to be facing the 3, the 6, or the 9. If the minute hand is at the 3, you start by saying quarter after. If it is at the 9, you start by saying quarter before, or quarter of, or quarter till. Your choice. Pick one of those. And if it's down at the 6, you start by saying half past. And then you've just got to select the correct hour. So let's take a look at your worksheet using our knowledge of writing time the smart way. When I look at 6:30 on a digital clock, like you see here for letter A, I can think about the clock that I had just projected for you, because that would mean that my minute hand is placed down at the 6, and so is my hour hand actually. And now when I think about that clock, it looks like this. I can see that because my minute hand will be placed all the way down at this 6, I'm going to use the term half past. And the nice thing about half past is it works exactly with the same exact hour that you're currently on, which in this case, your hour hand would actually be somewhere in between the 6 and the 7, and you don't even have to choose because half past is the same exact hour that you're on. So for the first one, it's just half past the current hour that you're on. Same can be said for any time your minute hand is facing the 3. So the first one's half past 6 because it's the hour you're on, and the same can be said for when your minute hand is at the 3. That's 15 minutes after, but we don't say 15 minutes after. The clock reminds me that it's the first quarter of an hour, or quarter after the current hour that I'm looking at. So again, anything on the right-hand side is going to be quarter after the current hour that's on the digital clock. Because I'm on the right-hand side of the clock, it means my answer is quarter after 3. However, for C and D, you'll notice that my minute hand now will switch to the left-hand side, pointing at the 9. Let me show you what that would look like. In that example, my minute hand would be placed directly at the 9, which is 45 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour. But because it's on the left-hand side of the clock, we use before, of, or till, and we count how many minutes until the next hour, which the nice thing about clocks is they start to move the hour hand closer to that hour for you. That's just how they're built, which means I'm 5, 10, 15, or quarter until the 10 o'clock hour. I wouldn't say 15 minutes before because I know that it's a quarter of that hour. So in this case, I would say, well, I'm quarter of the next hour, which is 10 o'clock. The same can be said for 10:45. Let's take a look at what that would look like on the clock. Again, because it's 45 minutes after, or 15 minutes until the next hour, my red minute hand would be facing the quarter, or the 9, the 45 minutes after, and my hour hand would be closer to the 11. But you don't even have to remember that because it's on this side of the clock and it's before the next hour. Even though it's written as 10:45, I'm talking about quarter of 11 o'clock, or quarter of 11, quarter of, quarter till, quarter before. So when it's at the 45, that's how I say it. When it's at the 15, it's after the current hour. When it's at the 45, or that 9, it's until the next hour, which would be 11 in the case of D and 10 in the case of C. These examples should help you for this worksheet because the rest of them will deal with either half past, quarter after at the 15, or quarter till, which is at the 9. Hope this video helps.